Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim, and the question in this episode is it possible for a manufacturer to create a great dive watch just by asking people what they want? Is the result then something extremely superficial and boring or something really great? Yes, you have seen the video title. Our topic today is Circula. This is a small company from Germany, not a new company, because the owner now, Cornelius Huber, inherited the business or the brand, let's say, from his family. And they produced watches back then in the 50s. And Cornelius started with vintage movements, new old stock movements, implemented them in new watches, sold those watches, was relatively successful, but was hard work, I think, and difficult. And now he produces modern watches, but with, let's say, role models from the 60s and 70s. And now we're in the genre dive watch. And I had a beer with Cornelius here in the neighborhood a few months ago. And the guy impressed me because he was very open with everything. I could ask him absolutely everything, every detail, and he knew every detail. He was really into his watches, and he said he's obsessed with tiny things. And then he demonstrated me bezel actions and how really a crown should work, and the grades of polishing edges was very important. So it was a funny evening, and Cornelius is a guy who can get in touch with people and can ask things. And if you check out their website now, then you will see that they really ask the crowd, their followers, people on forums, what should we do with the next watch? Which model, which complication, what size, and everything you find there in the list. And then people could give their input to Cornelius and Circula watches. And with thousands pieces of response, they've created the new SuperSport watch, which is here in the studio. I will show you this watch in the light box. But prior to that, let me tell you what I really like here is that, yes, they've asked people, but you can ask people and then you have a product everybody likes a bit, but nobody loves it. And that's not the case here. The watch really looks like a product from Cornelius because I've seen these other watches. And it's really a Circula watch. It has this DNA in it. And so I find this extra impressive that he is in touch with people, he hears to people, and then he creates with this input something which has his handwriting. Very, very nice. And now I will stop rambling. Let's go in the light box. Let's check out that watch. Okay, here we are with two watches. This is the older Aquasport and this is the new SuperSport Compressor dive watch here. And Cornelius sent me this older one too to show his progress over the last year. So this is more for my information here, but I thought why not check out both watches here in front of the camera. I think that's interesting. But first let's focus here on the new Super Compressor. Let's go over the specifications first. We have a case diameter of 40 millimeters. The length lug to lug is 46.5. Lug width is 20. And this prototype here has a height of 14, although the technical sheet says 13. This might be a prototype issue. And Cornelius sent me a long list with alterations, what he wants to improve. And of course, I will show you this or explain you what he means there, what are the points there. We have a sapphire crystal and a Celita SW200-1 movement, metal bracelet as you can see, and a real compressor technology, which means that the case can withstand water pressure because of the water pressure, because the water pressure then squeezes together the ceilings, seals everything off, and so you have a very, very tough watch. And they're testing this watch now to find out if this is waterproof up to 200 or 300 meters. Let's go over those two crowns here. We have an internal bezel, which means you can use this crown here to rotate that bezel here. And some people often think that those two crowns are connected to the compressor technology. They're not. You can find super compressors from the 60s and 70s with only one crown. This is just another method to rotate your bezel, which is a 120 click bezel, by the way, in this case. On the case back, we have a nice element here, diver's helmet. There it is, very cool with waves, looks very good, very nice detail, I must say. And you may notice that the finishing here is pretty good. We have this nice play here between polished and brushed. The entire case is brushed. The case back is polished, or let's say the helmet is polished. Here you see the crowns. Very interesting. There you find the Circula logo, and there's this grid you find on many dive watches. Clasp, yeah, pretty basic thing. We all have seen those type of clasps. You find them on many watches. Not very special. For me, always a bit too big, but this might be taste. And now back to the dial. We have a gradient dial. This is not a sunburst. Here you have a color on a dial with little saturation in the middle and full saturation in the outer area, so to speak. And so this gives you a nice texture, a nice look, which is different compared to a real sunburst effect. And we have nice colors. Here you see the lume, massive by the way. Here's the lume shot. And you have this orange here on the bezel. Let's put it in position here to see if it aligns. If not, it's not a drama because this, as said, is a prototype, but looks very, very good. And so you have a nice play between those colors, although, and now we can go into the alterations. Cornelius said that this orange is too orangey, too much yellow in it, and he wants to alter this a bit. Yeah, I see the point because you have here some green in it and then there's some yellow. This might be, if you're very critic, then you can say, well, this can be enhanced, but you know what? I find it pretty funky, to be honest like that. Second enhancement is the crown. The crowns will be 0.5 millimeter longer than this because he said this is a bit difficult to unscrew this. By the way, the prototype has a screwed crown, but this is without the thread. But the actual watch will have 2 screw-down crowns and a little bit larger or higher to make it easier. And this is now very basic, hand winding, and then position 1 sets the date, there it is. And position 2, there you set the time. This is of course basic, but it works. And now note the hand, please. It looks a bit rough. Looks still a bit rough, and this is another point in the list that he said we have to enhance this hand here. It will be a bit better, and the size of the outer hand is also not perfect because it's a bit too long. See that? Goes over this orange scale, and so it will be shorter and with better dimensions. Yeah, those are the details. Those are the tiny details you have to take in consideration, and if you change here something 0.5 millimeter, it has a massive impact because everything is so tiny and has to be equilibrated perfectly. And what I really like here are those details that you have the same color here on the crown, like on the outer scale, on the bezel, I should say. And so yeah, very nice thing. And another alteration will take place here. He said he doesn't like the connection bracelet case, that this could be a bit more smoothly here, and so there will be alterations. Note that they have quick adjustment spring bars here for the bracelet, which is of course extremely handy. We all have nibbled with sharp instruments here to remove a bracelet, but this is so very easy, very well done. Really, I really like this feature here. And the pre-order price for this watch will be 700 euros, so roughly 750 US dollars. And the regular retail price then will be 800 euros, which are roughly 850 US dollars. But bear in mind that from the US you don't have to pay your 19% VAT, so this comes in pretty handy then. Okay, but now we have seen a lot of positives here. We have a real compressor watch, we have contemporary measurements, we have quality ingredients, we have nice colors, although Cornelius is not happy with the orange. We have attention to detail. Another thing he said, or he wanted to hear my opinion about the polishing. Sometimes you find watches which are very sharp, or some are very round, and of course everybody favors something different. And he explained to me how important this is for him. And you know what? I find this polishing pretty good. You don't have very sharp edges, but you have edges. You can see edges, but you will not ruin your furniture or your garments with this watch. And this is very nice, so thumbs up, well done. But so a lot of positives. What are the negatives here? For me personally, the watch appears a bit too big because you have those 40 millimeters here, but see those massive crown guards, and here on the other side, it's almost like a Vostok. And this, of course, enlarges the diameter. This is the official diameter, 40, and the unofficial diameter here is way more. And so the watch wears big, really big. I will show you this on my wrist. Now I have a small wrist, 17 centimeters. And let's see how it looks like. And there we are. And you see a huge watch, a huge watch. So if you have a, let's say, 18, 19, 20 centimeter wrist, not a problem. But for people with 17 centimeters, I think it's a little bit too big. But this might be, of course, personal taste. I mean, a lot of people like really big watches. But this is my point. I mean, it's my video, and so I can make this point here. But now let's grab the other watch. Let's grab the older watch I'd like to show you. Here we have 39 millimeters, although the bezel is, I think, 39.5 or something like that. So also very contemporary, inspired clearly by the 60s or 70s. See here this C-shape case. You find also on old Omega constellations and on other dive watches, of course. You have just a nice variety of colors here. This blue together with the orange, and so it's this very funky watch, and you have this blue rubber here. And so I really had to smile when I saw this watch first. 120 click bezel, works fine. Oh, this was another point I've forgotten. Cornelius is not happy with the bezel action here. He finds it too rough. I cannot second this, to be honest. I find it totally in order, but okay. And here you have a screw down crown as well. Cylinder movement inside. And so nothing super new for us, but yeah, good quality ingredients. And I think the retail price for this watch is around 500 euros. And it just looks nice. It just looks nice. Oh, do you know what? Let's put it on the wrist. Let's put it on the wrist. Let's put the new thing aside. Who needs new watches, right? No, he will hate me. Oh. And here we are with the Aqua Sport. And you know what? I like it more. I'm very sorry, Cornelius, but I like this watch here more. Funky on the wrist. Nice size, nice colors, and yeah, somewhat cool. I mean, this might be a really great watch for people. And of course, this is a super compressor, and this is a pretty basic dive watch. Yeah, this is the truth. But you know what? I like this more. Very sorry. But kidding aside, of course, this is the more advanced watch, and you can see some progress in the details between those watches. They are also different in price, of course. Although, look at this nice effect here on the dial. Very cool, very cool. But my job here, of course, is to say that the latest is the best. And so this is the best, guys. This is the real watch, the real Circula dive watch. And this is the little brother. I like the little brother, I must say. I like it pretty much. Okay, welcome back. I hope this was interesting for you. At least for me it was. And I've learned a lot in the contact with Cornelius, and because he explained me so much. And it was so interesting to see such a work in progress. And it's a piece of bravery to send in a prototype, of course, because you have to trust the reviewer that he really sticks to your list, which contains all those alterations, right? And so, Cornelius, thank you very much for your trust. I will send the watches back now. And dear viewer, if you want to see more watches and other things, if you want to have your updates, then please join me on Instagram. It's Caseback_Tim. And now let me thank you very much for your attention, and until next time.